Want to know the latest important XRP news? Is it interesting to know the latest statements of David Shavarza? Then stay on this video and we're getting started. In the Ripple and Securities Exchange Commission (SEC) case, both sides have filed their closing briefs and are now awaiting summary judgment. But questions remain about the scope of the regulator's authority to exercise oversight in the cryptocurrency industry and the necessity of unsealing key documents. On February 27th, Deaton tweeted that opinions vary on how to classify securities, in response to a comment by MicroStrategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor, who said that Gensler's comments show that agreement is growing on the categorization of securities. He made the above statement while waiting for the summary ruling. Deaton had already discussed alternative settlement solutions for both sides. If the regulator determines that current and future XRP sales do not qualify as securities, Ripple, according to Deaton, would pay a settlement of $100, $250 million. He did warn that the SEC's recent assault on the crypto industry made it unlikely that they would approve of the strategy. Deaton said that the presiding judge might explain secondary XRP sales. It's worth mentioning that Ripple's general counsel, Stuart Alderoty, has already hinted that the SEC has very little prospects of winning the case at the Supreme Court. In response to the SEC's bullying and adhering to stretch legal arguments that were not loyal to the law, the few that had the bravery and resources to fight back against the SEC's bullying have resulted in 4 of the SEC's past 5 cases being lost in the Supreme Court. He stated, as was previously reported, the issue was given fresh life when journalist Rosalind Layton filed a request to get access to the Hinman speech paper. This June 2018 lecture by the SEC's former director of the Division of Corporate Finance may provide a good illustration of the agency's classification of securities. It's possible that XRP may be treated the same way as Ethereum, ETH, and Bitcoin, which Hyman pointed out are not securities. In a separate case, defense attorney James Filan disclosed progress in a class action lawsuit filed against Ripple in 2018. Investors in XRP filed suit against the firm and its CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, in California, demanding compensation for financial losses sustained as a result of the sale of XRP as an unregistered security. They're asking the court to rule XRP security. It was reported by Fit Von Bold that Deaton had submitted a motion to intervene in the case as an amicus brief. The plaintiffs had submitted a new motion objecting to Deaton's request to join the case. Ripple's CLO, Stuart Alderoty, has urged that Gary Gensler should step out from any further categorization of cryptocurrency decision-making. According to the attorney, Gensler's future conclusions are suspect because of a recent interview in which the head of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission said that all cryptocurrencies except Bitcoin were securities. For the second time, Chair Gensler has declared that all cryptocurrencies are unregistered securities, with Bitcoin being the only exception. As he has already made up his mind on the result, Stewart tweeted he must now disqualify himself from voting on any enforcement case involving that subject. Gensler implied that all other cryptocurrencies were securities in a wide-ranging interview with New York Magazine published on February 23. He argued that this was the case because there's a group in the middle and the public is anticipating profits based on that group, which was not the case with Bitcoin. However, his comments were misunderstood to imply that all crypto assets other than Bitcoin were within the SEC's purview, and he received severe condemnation from the crypto community as a result. Attorney and Blockchain Association policy lead Jake Chervinsky tweeted that Gensler may have prejudged that every digital asset apart from Bitcoin is a security, and that unless the SEC establishes its case in court, it lacks the jurisdiction to regulate other cryptocurrencies. In addition, the attorney stressed that Gensler's opinion is not the law, despite the commissioner's claims of supreme control over the Bitcoin market. XRP supporters are still waiting for the court to rule on whether or not the cryptocurrency should be classified as a security, despite the fact that the years-long litigation against Ripple is drawn to a conclusion. It's worth noting that, although the case's ultimate conclusion is still up for debate, many other judicial decisions involving essentially identical fact patterns have provided some indication of what could happen here. As an example, in March 2021, the SEC filed a lawsuit against Elbri, a blockchain-based sharing platform, for selling its LBC tokens without first registering them with the SEC. A judge on the Court of Appeals recently decided that LBC tokens are not securities until they are sold in the main sale. If Ripple can persuade the court that, like Elbrit, it never officially had an initial coin offering, the outcome may be favorable. If Ripple prevails, XRP may be relisted on major cryptocurrency trading platforms like Coinbase and Binance, which would be a huge boon to the coin's value. Many in the cryptocurrency community see the case of Ripple Labs UUSU, Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, as the most significant legal precedent to date. If SEC Chairman Gary Gensler and his agency win the lawsuit, it would mean a more severe crackdown on the cryptocurrency business by the United States top regulator. The motivations, though, might be dubious. In July of last year, attorney John E. Deaton's new platform CryptoLaw revealed shocking information concerning Gary Gensler. By releasing the so-called Gensler files, Deaton suggested that the SEC director could be favoring outside interests. Almost 2 years ago, it was revealed that Annabelle Lee LC and Marital Trust, two of Gensler's most important entities, had assets worth over $100 million, the vast majority of which were handled by Vanguard Group. On the other hand, Gensler's public itinerary reveals at least 7 meetings with Vanguard Group, but no crypto-related firms. Such bias has persisted to the present day. Gensler's bias for Wall Street behemoths is on full display at a time when not just Ripple, but the whole sector is fighting the SEC in Operation Choke Point 2.0. According to Fox Business's Eleanor Terrett, Gary Gensler's public schedule for September was only posted on the SEC website yesterday. Meetings with Vanguard Group, China's ambassador Nicholas Burns, and BlackRock are among the highlights. FTC Chairman Rostin Behnam was consulted 4 times. Former SEC General Counsel John Coates was consulted twice. When Gensler appointed Vanguard Group to handle his $100 million personal wealth, Deaton said he has allowed them disproportionate access to his office. Recently, Deaton speculated on the motivations behind the SEC's crackdown on Ripple and the cryptocurrency sector as a whole. The lawyer said Gensler would stick to its philosophy of regulating via enforcement until major financial institutions like Vanguard are pleased. According to Deaton's description, major financial institutions are typically positive about cryptocurrency. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink predicted that technology will play a key role in the current society. In addition, he underlined the need of acceptable crypto laws. Specifically, Deaton concluded, as such, Ripple may provide a standard for the SEC to follow when regulating cryptocurrencies, allowing the American agency to monitor all tokens and, ideally, all secondary market trades. In light of what Deaton has revealed, it is more crucial than ever that Ripple wins its case against the SEC.